Welcome back to another episode of the V Square podcast. I'm your host, Shuai. You can call me Joel at the same time.
And my name is Norman, or Norman.
Yeah.
So what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, today we're going to talk something that's a little bit more personal to start with. So
All right.
we're going to talk about something that really bothered us as a newbie designer. Not say that we haven't entered school, more like we have been in school for a while. Like we have finished around a semester, and then we start to see this thing that keep butting us behind our heads.
You mean like back in like year one or during year two?
More like the year 1 to year 2 transition.
So right after year one. Okay, what do you notice?
Well, I've noticed that basically, right, you remember back in the days that for us, we had this module, called it studio projects, right?
Yeah.
That one big one.
The one that we had to do multiple variations of, but yeah, I remember it.
So basically, for those who are listening to this podcast, what that studio project module is really about, right? It's a very big design project that gives you an underlying problem somewhere, somehow, and then you have to create a series of stuff, deliverables to so-called solve the problem. So for us, our topic was about places like towns.
That was the first studio project that we had for different towns around Singapore. But I'm pretty sure this studio project module was specifically pertaining to Temasek Poly. But yeah, we got towns as our first topic. I chose Bedok, if I remember.
Yeah, I chose Kampong Glam. Yes. But those are all histories. But the main focus we're trying to bring out here today is that because of this so-called big scale project, right, we have quite a number of things we need to produce. Basically, the main deliverables, the most prominent one, right, we need to produce is a book, a publication. Then alongside, right, we have another category. This is called collaterals. We need to produce some other side stuff, which is quite open-ended. And that's where I see people get a little bit more creative. When my classmates and our cohort mates, some people produce brochures, some people produce flyers, envelopes, hot stamps.
So a bunch of cool stuff that you don't regularly see. So, but like with the brief that we were given was to promote the area for tourists and locals, like youngsters, to introduce them to the place, right, so that they can go visit it and stuff. So the entire idea for the collateral and the publication was to highlight certain things and to create interaction, I guess, with more exciting stuff.
It is to so-called promote the town, so it has to be something that represents, symbolizes, or speaks for the place in some way. So that's basically that. But my main problem I see is that
there's a main problem behind this.
Okay, now we need to go back to the problem. So that's the whole background setting. All right, I just described what we have been doing. But the thing is that when I try, right, for myself, right, I wanted to create perfume boxes.
Oh no, I remember that.
So basically, the Kampong Glam place, right? That place is like a area where back in the 1800s, all the Arabs and the Muslims will come over. So they have this very specific perfume, which is oil-based perfume, because Muslims cannot have alcohol in their religion practice.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was the main idea. I tried to get that perfume out, and to create a box, right, I wanted to do all kinds of special fancy prints. I wanted to do that, but then I look at my wallet, then I look at the price list, right, and just I can't really afford it for 2 boxes, right?
But which one, what type of effects do you want on the box though? Embossing, debossing?
I want them all.
So you tell me you want foil, okay.
Yes, I want my box to look.
Yeah, it won't be worth for just 2 boxes.
It won't be worth. So that's why I started to think that, hey, damn, maybe I can try and do this thing myself. So I went on to YouTube, I went on to Google, I searched ups and downs, in and out, asked teachers, lecturers, seniors, I asked them how to create this thing I wanted.
So like the effect, like you wanted like embossing, debossing, all of that stuff. How did that go?
Yeah. It didn't went that well, man. Like it was a hell session for me. Like if you remember, right, I disappeared from class for like 3 hours straight.
Yeah. Cause you tried to I think you had a
print. I tried to print the UV print, that kind of reflective, translucent kind of thing when you tilt the box, then the light reflects and you see the pattern on the box. That's what I wanted.
I mean, yeah, I get it, but certain people might not understand the effect.
Yeah, if you really want to know what the effect really,
you go search up UV printing, right?
Yeah, or you can look at your sports shoes, or you can look at your like fancy typo.
It's like any type of let's say like 3M material, the one where it's like reflective, you can have some like light shine off of it.
Yeah, something along that line. I wanted to do that. Then in the end, I come out, right, the thing looks like garbage, man.
You didn't show me the product, but I remember you trying to do it.
Yeah, like when I first saw it, I mean, okay, like, it was fine, but then after a while, right, it starts to like decompose by itself, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, this is ugly ass motherfucker.
So what happened afterwards?
So that got me like really thinking about this problem. Can I do everything by myself? Can I be like a master of all?
Oh, you mean like without being able to like depend on like let's say external people, so like printers and all that stuff?
It's not just that. It's more like whether even if I can like so-called like get the information from them, can I have the ability to reproduce it with my own hands?
But I mean, talking about your previous experience, seems like that didn't go too well.
YouTube is not all, man.
So okay, then okay, from all of that, right, then what did you figure out? Like you say, could you be a master of all, right?
Yeah.
Did you manage to do that?
Honestly, not from my side, but yeah, I didn't get there when I was like year one. Not now also lah. So it's quite a broad dream that I have. There's like an unrealistic vision that, well, I mean, I asked my peers, maybe yourself also lah. We all have this one so-called false impression that you can learn everything and you can just do everything. One day you can just don't need to depend on anyone, and you can just be autopilot and do everything by yourself.
I mean, yeah, of course, everybody would love to be independent by themselves, right? If not, then you never need to ever borrow someone else's, let's say, expertise, and you can do everything by your own standards and your own vision, right?
Pretty much that.
But that's like what you said, like super unrealistic.
Yeah.
It's just because of the idea that you're not able to learn. You can learn a lot of stuff, but you would never be perfect at those things,
It's quite there, but maybe some of you who are listening to this podcast right now, you are just like,
you might be thinking like, oh, I'm gonna learn everything by myself. Fuck what these guys say.
Yeah, it was. We're not saying that it's 100% saying no, you ain't gonna be one, but it's more like we tried.
Well, you tried.
Well, yeah.
You try. I haven't tried yet, but it's pretty unrealistic to get like let's say there's like the ability to do certain things by yourself, right? Let's say even just including the prints that you're talking about, like embossing, debossing, all of that. That's fucking difficult. I'm pretty sure that you won't be able to do those by yourself. But I'm sure there's other outputs we could talk about, right? Like skills wise.
Yeah, I mean, we can divide this topic, whether you can be a master of all, into 3 different sections, and it's more pertaining to what we been through as a design student. All right.
Okay.
So, we can go through the first topic that you want to talk about, like skills.
Yeah lah. I mean, that's the thing that carries behind like most designers, right? Skills and certain things that they have. So like we got branding, we got like things like UI, UX, advertising, motion graphics, illustration, 3D imagery and all that stuff, photography. It's the basic idea to like you have the ability to produce your your deliverable through different mediums. You are able to create these certain things using that skill on different platforms.
Yeah, pretty much that. So as how I mentioned in my previous story, I try to do print effect and through my own hands and via YouTube, like tutorials and scattered all kinds of random materials, but it didn't really work out. I mean, on the video it looks pretty nice, that they actually, but in real life it
didn't turn out well.
Yeah, I feel being cheated.
Like, did you not do it well, or did it like just didn't work for your box?
There's a lot of factors in, like it's a lot of ambiguity there. I also not too sure myself.
All right.
Yeah.
But then did you manage to get some type of like alternate idea for like the box? Cause you said you wouldn't be able to print like that type of effect.
I mean, it came down to a lot of like give and take. Like certain parts I just like, okay, this is like the max I can go. I have to move on. Some parts it didn't really turn out well. I can just cover one eye, like they just fall already, man.
All right.
That's the thing. So when it comes down to this kind of skill sets, right, we are talking about here, like where we previously mentioned, like motion design, motion graphic design, animation, advertising, illustration, and photography. Those skills, right, basically are the ones that we get to expose to and learn in design school. And back in our TB days, we have like so-called touched on all of these a little bit somewhere here and there.
Not perfected, but touched on. We have like just a bit of skill in these, I guess.
Yeah, and that really so-called broaden our vision, that we see, wow, damn, there's a lot of things you can play with. So many
like paint brushes to paint this final picture, It's like there are so many ways that you could now create a certain thing that you want for your idea.
Yeah, you can be like a funny advertising person, or you want to be like the very serious and solemn kind of branding person, or you want to be this. So we just basically see ourselves being like one of those type of person carrying that skill set,
And you mean like being able to just carry one skill set, or like
all of them?
All of them.
Yeah,
I had a point in time too.
Yeah, like you and me, we all have a little bit of like the generalist spirit, like we want to, we look at everything.
You probably touch your heart and you just tell yourself like, oh yes, I got the ability to do it. Then you look at it, then you're just like, all right, let me try to do it. And then your brain just shuts down slowly.
Yeah, that's the harsh reality. That's even though we can appreciate everything, that all these skill sets, different things that people can create, right? We appreciate them, we like them.
Yeah, definitely. But you might not be able to do that yourself.
Yeah, that's really our key point here. So if you really set your bar really high, or you didn't come in to like a design school, or you go to...
I'm sorry, do you just say design screw?
Yes, I want to say design school.
Design school,
but my tongue is still a world twist. Yes.
There we go.
Right, you coming here to the design school, you didn't have a very strong preference in mind. Like you have some of our friends are like, they come in, they say, damn, I want to do photography, damn, I want to do illustration, and then that's it.
A lot of people came in with the mentality they wanted to just focus on a single skill set, which in my opinion I think is quite smart.
Yeah, it's quite smart.
But in comparison to us, the very selfish, very egoistic, very greedy ambitious motherfuckers, we wanted to, I guess, learn as many skill sets as you can, or that we could take in.
Yeah, but that brings me to my second point. Like, if you really like so-called want to be a generalist, right? Like you have this vision to become the one grand true master like Doctor Strange, and you like have master everything.
I'm pretty sure Doctor Strange only got the power to control time. But I get what you mean by the sense that like you're able to do maybe not everything to a perfect extent, but everything quite like above average,
like reasonable,
like quite reasonable for everything.
Yeah, I mean that can help you like from the start, where you can have the ability to stretch out. You can try many things as much as you can. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like hard for others to and yourself to really to understand which expertise do you really belong to, because if you claim that you are the master of all, you're basically digging holes for yourself. You may not be the best that one particular area. Maybe you're not the best in photography, even though you thought you are good.
No, I mean, you might be good, but you're not the best, I'm pretty sure with the mentality of most groups, you'll definitely want, especially if you want to score well, you'll definitely want people who are the best in certain items. Like what we said previously when you're working with, did we mention about working with teams?
Oh, that's for the next episode.
Whoops. Okay, so yeah, but when you are working with teams, right, a good general advice is to basically just work with people that are competent in certain skills. So you will want to take the best from, I think it's just a good general plan to take people who are really good at certain things, and then you can cover up for their lack of skill in a certain area that you don't have. So you can take someone who's really good in photography, but they might not be good in typography. So you can balance off each other and you can create the best typographic poster in the world. Something like that.
Yeah, like a blend there. But this is a bit of a stretch already.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch already. But it's just to get the point across, saying that you should, although you might be good, you're not the best. So you won't be able to, let's say, progress well, because you're just limiting yourself by taking so many different like core skill sets that people actually want. So you're learning everything, but you're not going to master everything. So what's the point of that?
Yeah, it's kind of like how you play an RPG game. It can't be a tank, a healer, and an assassin.
Although you wish you could be all three at once.
Yeah, it's practically that. And I mean, becoming like what, when we are like 18, 17,
16
that's like
exact.
Yeah,
well,
okay,
for me it's 16.
Yeah, so it's coming at a time where you're at the peak of your right after you get hit by your puberty truck, and then your body is still youth and like energetic, and you're like, god damn, I feel like I want to do something, Then you want to like blown out, and like in like a year or two after you learn the skills, and you want to learn everything at one time. Yeah, let me just give you the word of advice: don't stop dreaming, man. That's not gonna happen.
Well, I mean, it's coming from someone who has the experience of doing so.
I mean, if you can prove me wrong, go ahead. I will be happy.
No, I mean, I'm pretty definitely sure. Like, I think it's possible for you to be like, people can have the opinion of you saying everything, but you could only be mastering in like branding, advertising, illustration, and like those three things. But then people could say like, wow, you're really good at those three things, but then certain things you might not be able to do it. But that's what people might count as all. It's up to you what to define actually all of the skill sets is.
Yeah, you can. It's up to you to draw the circles now.
Yeah, but to us, everything that we mentioned before it's under like that master of all category.
It's like we have the greedy spirit of that. If I see it,
if it's a new medium, I want to learn that.
Yeah, it's mine, man. I'm gonna take it.
Like recently, I've been recently checking out lots of branding stuff on Instagram, right? So I've seen lots of like logo creation. I've seen lots of brand guides, kind of as an example. I've also seen like different types of product design stuff for branding, specifically products. So I was just like, damn, I really want to create something like this now. But I'm just realized like, wait, I'm a UI UX designer that specializes in advertising. So I'm figuring out how am I able to grab that skill set for myself, although I won't be the best at it.
Yeah. So
although I really want to be good at it because it looks really damn good.
Yeah. So this is since we're talking about looks, right, we can bring up to the next point of like the one man army we're talking about, that the master of all. Can you be a master of all styles?
Styles. That's quite rare. That's actually pretty fucking impossible.
Okay, let's just like so-called draw the line between like what we mean by styles.
Sure, you go ahead.
Yeah, the styles here we're referring to is basically the art style, like the look and feel of the things you produce. Like certain people, that when they do their work, right, they design a poster, they shoot a photo, or they do a video, right, these kind of things. Some people, they, no matter what they do, right, just always very kiddish and kawaii. Like, yeah,
so it comes out really cute.
Yes, it's like no matter what they do, right, even they touch like a bubble tea cup, right, it comes out become kawaii, you know.
I actually think I know who you're talking about, but whatever.
Yeah.
So you're saying like with certain people, they execute certain things and it's always that type of look, like that really cute, has that bubbly feeling to it. Like, that's for like one person, huh?
Yeah, they have some people, right, no matter what they do, right, it come out, it feels like just went through like a tornado. You know, it's super crunch and super hard, super bold, and it's just bang, 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 bang. Just want to like jump your face, that kind of.
Are there neon colors in there?
That's the last thing you will see before you go blind, man.
Okay. So you're basically trying to say that people carry over like different types of art style mastery for certain things that they like to do. So they got this, it's almost like a kind of like a personal branding thing for themselves. You know, they got the color schemes that they always like to work with a lot. And the looks,
it's like a personal trait, you know, like the things they always do no matter like the condition.
Although like it might not be like your project and the message they're trying to get across, but you know, it's like it's your colors. It's your colors that you want to show.
Like that. So that actually also bothers me a bit as a young designer when I first started off, right? When we get briefs, like when we have different small assignment up to like big project briefs, right? When we read the stuff or we go down to do our own research and investigations, some so-called keywords pop in our head. You know, like sometimes when we read like we need to design. I'm just saying this. I'm not trying to offend anyone here, right? Okay, don't know
what they're gonna say. Oh dear.
Okay, if you design a poster about like depressions, right? About like people who are in depression. So what, like there are certain things that will come into your head when you mention the word, okay? Like black, the color of black, people crying, people tearing, you know, people overdosing on drugs, like even more gruesome ones, right? They cut their wrist, blood everywhere. Then
basically like keywords associated to like depression, like that specific word in this case.
Yeah, pretty much. Then in that sense, it kind of affects me as myself, right? Where I produce my things, it's just like, oh, I must have someone, you know, if I want to create a poster for depression hotline, I must show like someone who's like very, very like sad and like, yeah, then in order to create that thing. And in that case, right, it makes me want to like so-called use photos more, you know, because it's more relatable and more straightforward at that sense, because you make people see that.
I agree. Photography is a good medium to capture that type of emotion.
But then sometimes I take the same brief and give it to my other peers, right? Now I'm like, then some of them may choose to like draw like a realistic drawing, you know, like maybe a drawing in pencils and like pure charcoal, and then like, oh damn, that looks nice too. And maybe another friend who are a little bit more like a more fun person, like she or he will just like create like a wall mural, you know, in a very graffiti style, and they speak a different kind of vibe. But then I'm like, damn, why am I so limited to this one thing that I'm seeing? You know, I'm seeing only sad people crying at dark corners, but they are seeing other things. So I'm thinking like, can I also like open my vision and master different styles? You know,
I mean, okay, like it's a very, in that sense, right, it becomes very broad because it's not just art style anymore. You know, it's like certain types of medium and choices that they make I mean, it encompasses the entire thing of art style. Like. So you got like, you know, your elements that you choose, which in this case you chose like photography. Your friends chose different types of like let's say like a mural. Then after that they created it with like graffiti paint, while you use photography and whatever else you use lah, for example. So I feel like when you especially if you want to just master the style, the word like art style, you have to be able to just intake different ideas. Because right, actually when you mentioned certain things, right, like the graffiti mural art style, right, and what was the other one of your friend suggestion?
Another one is she do very realistic charcoal drawings.
Right, charcoal drawings. So both of those people took two different mediums, right, with two different ideas. It's okay lah. It's a option whether or not you have that certain idea of theirs, right? But you placed it in the context of photography. So it's up to you to define what type of okay, wait, my brain's shutting down here. Give me a second.
Are you trying to say that the direction, the thought direction does not really get limited by the look of it?
Something like that, yeah. Your thought direction doesn't get limited by how it looks, but by the different mediums that you choose. Simply just because that you chose photography, right, and the other people has done like graffitis and murals, charcoal pencils, you just didn't explore those mediums. And maybe you might be unhappy with how your photography looks in comparison to different mediums.
I mean, this is just this whole story doesn't really exist in real life, but it's just something that is more relatable to myself. Like I feel like I can't really see their visions. I can't really produce the vibe, like how a graffiti, like kind of very cheerful and very hip hop vibe. You know, I just can't grasp it and handle it properly. Even though if you want me to do it, I can try, but then I just can't see it. You know, I don't know where to go.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe if you the keyword right there in your sentence, you said that we haven't tried it before. So the idea here, right, is that if we could get this certain, like what I said before, I feel like it's the idea that comes first. When you got that cool idea of like how you want to show, like let's say the keyword again is depression, right? And then instead of using your portrait photography to show someone sad and stuff, your ideation of this is now becoming, let's say I want to use something like really ironic with like cool taglines and stuff. So once you got that new idea, right, instead of showing like a sad face, now you're able to explore, is photography better than this? Is graffiti better in this? Is charcoal pencils cooler in this? It's up to you now to define the aesthetic sense and which one fits your idea.
Okay, actually you have a good point right there.
Then I just feel like it's the idea that comes first, you know, before the art style and everything. But yes, being able to master different art styles would be a great asset to have. It's just very impossible if you don't have the practical experience. Just because art styles is something that you need to keep doing and you keep looking at for you to grasp the full thing. And same with the core mastery of skills, you know, art styles, core skills, they all just come with practice, I think. Yeah, mostly. Because it's very rare for people to get a really good spot on sense of the style.
Yeah, that's true. Practice makes the perfection. I mean, some people may have the talent or the gift, you know, like sometimes they put their hands on the mouse and they look at Photoshop and like, I knew it, I know how to do it, like after 10 minutes, and while I was still trying to figure out what is Control C and Control V.
But I mean, I could say the same thing for you. I feel like, you know, this is just a personal story from me. I feel like Joel's art style, right, specifically for like really bold ideas and stuff, right, he fits that style really well. Fits it with like very modern hip-hop funk type look. If you could see his work, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I feel like his art style in that regard is pretty solid for the way that he executes it anyway. Yes, that's a personal compliment from me to you, you piece of shit.
Wow, nice. What a great friend. I have so close to just to stab you in the yeah, but anyway. I mean, okay, we will cover a designer core skill, basically what you can produce and the vision that I have, the thing about art styles, that whether you can produce certain impressions, certain looks and feel.
Yeah. I actually do have if you don't mind, right, I got one more story for like the art style part. I think it was we had one module back in year 1. Do you remember design fundamentals? So okay, there's this one module right back in year 1 specifically for TP, Temasek Poly. We call it design fundamentals, which is like the first module that you learn when you come into Temasek Poly. So they teach you like things that we said in episode 1, I believe, which is like color theory, layout and stuff. Do they teach layout? Whatever.
We didn't even do layouts, man. We were doing freehand drawings.
Freehand drawings, different. I remember. I mean, not in Des Fun, but we also learned like art history and all that stuff. So we learned a lot about art instead of the idea of design. So going off a tangent here, right? For art style mastery, for that specific project for design fundamentals, right? We were tasked to paint a specific type of painting for a different topic. So it was night and day, or dreams and something.
Dreams and something, and then
the opposite of
East
dreams
versus West.
Yeah, it's like East versus West and dreams and something like the opposite of dreams.
Yeah. That was the topic that we were given. Actually, we were just given a wooden board 50 times 50 cm.
Yeah.
To do something with it, and most people choose painting. Yeah, about that. So what's your...
Yeah, the point I was trying to make is that I wanted to go for, like, I chose the dreams and something topic, which is like basically night and day, that type of thing, you know, negative, positive. So I came out with the cool idea. I was like, okay, I'm gonna paint a flower. Now I got my medium, right? I'm gonna say, how am I gonna split this flower up? Back then I didn't have any art ideas, or I wasn't artistic at all or creative. So I just said, alright, I'm gonna cut this flower in half. I'm gonna paint one side bright, one side super dark.
Alright.
Now it comes down to that art style. What type of style do I want to paint it in? I had like I could make it like really brushy, really washed out with watercolor, all of that stuff, or acrylic paint, really heavy. I didn't have any art style. I just started painting. I literally started painting to what I thought was right. And then I came out with something that was, I believe the left side was really blue. The flowers had, the petals were pink. Stalk was obviously green. Then the right side of that, right, was like a complete hellscape of like black, red, and purple, mixing all those colors together to make like the idea of like something in dream, you know, the opposite of dream, whatever. So basically that art style, right? I was looking at my final piece in comparison to what my reference was previously. I was looking at a reference like for some type of, was it Art Nouveau? Something not classical, definitely. It was pretty modern looking, a modern looking painting. And I was just like, fuck me. I messed up the style completely. I did not know what the hell I was doing.
Oh, so your painting was the devil's anus. Yeah, that's what
basically, it basically looked like shit. And I completely messed up the style, and I was like, shit, I barely have any experience in painting, I can't do this style at all. And that was the big takeaway from that, you know. I need to practice more if I wanted to ever go and continue painting. So I have no chance as a painter.
Okay, I mean the vertex we can draw from your story.
The basic
right?
thing you can draw from my story is practice makes perfect, draw. And I can't draw. I can draw somewhat. I can't paint. Even with reference, I cannot paint, but practice makes perfect. I believe if that you can keep trying to paint, you know, you're gonna get somewhere pretty decent.
Yeah, practice makes that. I mean the real point I can draw now, I mean from all of our previous conversation, is that you need to have a certain set of like core skills that you are really good at, and through those skill sets, right, like when we talk about in terms of creating artworks, right? Okay, artworks like physical medium artworks, that you have painting, you have drawing and sketching and stuff. You have all these base core skills, right? You can produce your thoughts and ideas through these mediums and create a certain style from there.
I mean, that's excluding like the skills and that's required for that. Like, you know, it's just the style and how you envision it now. So
yeah,
you definitely need to practice that style if you want to get good, right?
Yeah, just practice your skills and get your visions across, and that makes the style what we're trying to say here. So
I mean, okay, other than core skill mastery, you know, like art style mastery, there's a very small other category that I feel like encompasses the entire idea of, you know, master of all kinds of whatever. And I feel like that's soft skills, because that's actually very, you know, underutilized, underlooked. Like, it's very overlooked.
True.
So, you know, soft skills pertain like time management, resource management, your micromanaging of how you want to do certain things in your timeline planning. Other than that, you know, sorting of stuff, categorization, file management, I guess.
Yes.
Those things, I feel like when you bring them together, right, definitely also comes together if like you really want to be this huge master of everything. Like, if you ignore the core skills, ignore the art style, you already got those settled somehow. Now you gotta master your soft skills, which I don't know if you have. I mean, what's your take on this?
I mean, okay, let's just say in my view, okay, soft skills, right, are basically the things I see that you need to have to function yourself as a proper civilized human being in design school.
All right, so you're saying like you basically need this to work as a human.
Pretty much that. I mean, okay, let's just take time management per se, all right, to so-called survive in design school. Okay, for those who have the intention to come to Temasek Poly, because our school do not have examinations. Basically, everything you do
is a damn project.
It's counted as a part of a big exam. Alright, the exam does not end until your whole semester or term is over.
It basically all comes together.
So basically, like some people may go into this hyper tense stage. Like, once the year starts, like, oh dear, no, oh shit, this thing need to submit, this, then you do that thing. Or some people may go inside this like, the year starts,
and then they become like super relaxed
until like 2 weeks before submission. Like, shit. Yeah,
that was me back in year 1.
Yeah. And I was the hyper tense dude. I just like, shit, I need to submit this. That's I mean, not saying that it's a bad thing to be on the either mentality we're describing here. One is like super tense throughout the whole. Another one is relax for the like, first 70%, then the last 30% starts to panic like a bitch. Yeah. Yeah, I'm roasting you here.
I know. Yeah. You don't have to rub it in. But I think you're trying to say here is that we should find a good in-between balance between both of these, especially for time management.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you don't want, like what Joel said, you know, it's fine to be on either spectrum where you can be super panicked, because being super panicked at the start means that you're actually going to be delivering the stuff on time, but it might not be good.
For your mental health.
Yes, it might not be good for your mental health. Then for the second half also, it might also won't be good for your mental health at the second half of the time period, because you're 30% left and you just start rushing everything. Your work isn't going to be, let's be real, 100% of what you could have delivered if you use the time wisely.
Yeah. So it's just basically that you need to find your own ways to balance out the things, because let's put it frankly, that everyone has that same 24 hours every day, right? You can take away 1/3 of your day because you're sleeping like a dead dog. Yeah, you're just sleeping at home or somewhere.
8 hours? Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's on average. I know you sleep.
Shh, no one needs to know.
Yeah. So for myself, I sleep about like 8 hours back in year 1. That's such a luxury, man. I can sleep 8 hours.
How long do you sleep
Yeah.
now? Oh yeah, you don't.
No, I still sleep, but I sleep around like 6 or 6 or something. But basically, 1/3 of your day is pretty much gone.
Resting.
Resting, right? So let's take away all the other times that you have on commuting, right? Commuting here and there. Unless your house is like our dear friend who lives like 10 minutes walk away, you will probably spend around half an hour to
Travel.
an hour or two to just travel back and forth to your school. All right. So then we have how many hours left? That we only have what?
I mean, if you're cutting,
16,
are we
14.
like, okay, let's judge this from, let's say, are we talking 6 a.m. or are we talking like the start of like 12 a.m.?
No, I'm just counting time in the whole 24-hour block. All right.
Right.
So let's just say that you only have like 12 hours left, right? So that 12 hours you'll spend about every day. We have about 6 hours in school, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we have 2 lessons. We only have 2 modules we need to attend, but each module is about 3 hours. Yeah, just take into the context of that.
That would.
But
no,
that
continue.
would
You
what?
continue.
yeah, that will leave us with only another 6 hours left.
Yeah, and that 6 hours after school timing is what you are gonna be going. Either you can go eat lunch, you can go eat dinner, and that's also taking like another half an hour out each, or maybe an hour.
Yeah, so you only have 5, all right? So let's just say that in school, right, you didn't, because you need to go through lessons, tutorials, consultations, you don't have the time to so-called do your work. And you have your friends around, you have distractions around, you so that school time you didn't really produce any work. So right now you're only left with around 5. So that 5-hour block, right, is where you actually sit down and start doing your project.
Which, when you think about it, is very little time in comparison to, well, I mean, depending on how fast you can do stuff, obviously, if you can do faster, it'd be not too bad. But if you're a slow worker, which likes that perfection in everything, right, then you're going to be suffering with just 5 hours every single day.
Yeah, and preceding the fact that your 5 hours can actually sit down and do your work.
Yeah, that's if
throughout.
you're successful.
Yeah, honestly speaking, that never really tally out, you know. You have different responsibilities. You have different events. Your friends ask you to eat dinner. Your friends ask you to play arcade. Your friend asks you to do this, do that.
And the ironic thing is, even like, let's say we're not talking about like distractions and stuff, right? When you go back to your work, sometimes you might feel, wow, what the frick am I doing? I should change it. And then all of a sudden now you have resetted your time and you have deleted the time that you have spent on that, like let's say 5 hours, if you manage to do that. And now you just re-changed up your how it looks, and now you have to spend another 3 to 4 hours to redo something that you have already done. You know, it's kind of ironic with like the amount of time that you're going to be spending on projects sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like the army saying, "Samurai, one more time, do it again."
That's a saying.
So you never really like left. You may have go through like a week or something, right? Because you go through different iterations of design and exploration. You may go through your lecturer, you go and consult, or you may have file crash here and there.
So many different things that could play a part here. Like
right,
even
your
like even like you mentioned reiterations of different things, right? Trust me, you won't 5 hours, especially from someone who had the what, like 5 iterations of my Studio Project 3. 5 hours is not enough per day to get like something working that you are happy with. Well, maybe I have high expectations, but yeah, it's not enough.
It's really like not there lah. So
here's a tip from me: do work in class when you're free.
Since the man that plays poker and
hey, shh.
Oh, okay.
Not poker. It's called Uno.
All right. PG-13 pokers, man.
Of course. But anyways, back to the topic of soft skill.
Yeah. Back to the topic. So time management is something you really need to balance in on yourself. I know everyone has their own personal priorities. Maybe school to you is not number one. You don't really care about it that much. You just came here to get a diploma, or you just came here to make friends. Up to you. That one is not for us to judge. But if you really want to so-called be a master, or like just be like a proper civilized human being and survive it, you will need that time management skills to get yourself through in a proper mental and physical state. Trust me.
Yeah, definitely. This is especially for soft skills, it's just never talked about enough. But it's just such an important thing that you need to drive home, especially in design school. Time management is everything. But the time management is number one. But there are other things also, like let's talk about resource management. Related to money, and you're micromanaging or how you want to get certain things, or you want to do this certain effect with like certain printers and stuff. Money, it's a very important thing. Not many people want to. Obviously, you want to keep your stuff cheap at the same time looking professional.
Yeah, that's something I really wanted to talk about. Even though, like, say, money is a sensitive topic per se,
Yeah, it's quite sensitive.
Yeah, actually, we can just talk a little bit about like this perception when people talk about art and design schools or education. They think that you need to spend like big cash, big drop, swipe your credit card every day, like spreading peanut butter on your bread, But honestly speaking,
it's not too bad, right?
True, it's kind of true.
Yeah, I agree.
Not 100%. It's like a 50-50 take from it. Because let's just put it very bluntly. All right. Just like how you go to maybe like supermarket, or you're trying to get something done. Let's just say that you're thirsty, right? You have tens and hundreds of ways to get yourself like quench your thirst. You can go supermarket, go and buy like a normal mineral water, which is like $1 for a bottle, or you can go and buy the fancy sparkling water, which is about $7 a bottle.
Or you could stab a watermelon and then blend it for like $15.
Yeah, pretty much there. So there are different ways you can accomplish a certain goal. So in design school, for our context, the most common example we use ourselves is printing. Right?
Yeah, printing, and especially I think posters, either posters or not in publications format, because those are the things that we produce a lot.
Yeah, like those are like our most common like money stealers are there, because to produce the prints, all the colors and stuff, it has different printers have different machines, and different printers can take different papers, and you
repeating the word different doesn't make it different.
Basically, there's many variable factors that can constitute to our end cost. Let's take it that way.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you on that. Because it's just like when it comes to, especially like we just touched on the topic of printing, right? Especially for printers, there's gonna be a popular place for you to go print at. So for us, that would be Sunshine Plaza.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. So for us, we found that the printing quality for us there was pretty solid. At the same time, where the prices there were also pretty reasonable. So if you print in quantity, which is what you should be doing, if you ever get a friend, go print in quantity, you'll get cheaper prices that way.
Yeah, that's the
hidden. That's a hidden secret, but yeah. So it's up to you, right, to define whether or not your project should have that type of quality, at the same time whether or not you're willing to spend that amount of money. So balance your quality to money ratio well.
Like your input versus the output. Is it worthy?
Yeah, like, are you gonna spend $20 just on this A3 poster to produce this certain debossing effect, which in real life it doesn't even look that great?
Yeah,
it's possible, Yeah, like even when you print it might not look good. So like comparatively to what you thought on the screen. So you got to be very careful. Think through what you want, know what you want, and go do some research at different types of places that you want to go. Let's say print your stuff, or not, go get some products or something.
Yeah, like it's like okay, it's just another story that I want to share. Like
Sure.
previously, I mean, we all have the classmate. We all have this one classmate, right? Spend around what for our desk print, right? You spend around like what 120
10, 20?
bucks. Yeah, 120 for her paint. You know, she bought a new set of like oil paint to create her final art piece, which is the 50 cm times 50 cm board.
Oh,
And-
you know, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the outcome was okay. It's not bad, but she didn't really finish the paint. She bought in excess amount. She bought a lot of things, and like oil paints are cheap. They can't. You need to buy all the dilutants. You need to buy the special brush. You need to get the special things here and there. And for us, we only bought like what? We only spent $5 to buy like a primer to prime our board. And
Yeah, that's it.
That's all.
And afterwards, you used the school's acrylic paint to paint our
yeah,
project
Yeah.
because we didn't want to invest that much money.
yeah. So that's really what we're trying to say here. That this money management, if you are rich, go ahead and do it. But if you're not that like well off, or you have certain limitation on yourself, don't push yourself to get there, you know.
Mhm. But in the same idea, right? If you feel like you really want to strive for the perfection, the top quality stuff, right? Go for it. No one's stopping you. It's just that it's
Yeah.
going to be really heavy on your wallet. And also ask yourself, could you really produce this effect and the quality that you want with something that looks cheaper and is cheaper?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we can wrap it up right here, lah.
Well,
Can we?
is there anything else that you want to talk about? I mean, we've covered like skill mastery, we've covered art style mastery, and we covered soft skills.
Yeah,
It,
that's what we.
yeah, it encompasses the entire idea, I think, for master of like in all kinds of design.
Yeah, like that's what we really see as a master of, or the true one-man army
Hmm.
has to have the ability to do
But the
all
main
of that.
but the main draw is no. Well, I believe that you can't be a master of all of that. You know,
Yeah,
like what? Like
I mean-
your take on it as well, right? You cannot be a master of all.
you cannot be, but you can have the ambition. You can have the heart to learn many things. You can have the heart to explore many ways of doing things, different styles, different mediums, different skill set. You can have the heart, but do not trap yourself in that. Do not trap yourself that to the sense that you must be able to accomplish that. And
Or if not,
Don't-
you'll be like super like
Yeah.
if you're not able to accomplish that certain thing that you set out to do, you'll be like super sad and depressed, I guess.
yeah, sometimes you get a little bit caught up with your own. Damn it! I didn't do the painting with I wanted. I want to kill myself. That kind of thing. Right?
Mm. Okay.
So yeah, I mean the main message here for those who are still listening to this podcast, and you are really trying to start off to join design school, or you're really trying to
Set off in
Like,
your
do
design
some-
career.
not say career yet lah. I mean, if you want to, but choose your own lane. Just pick one that you are really interested, or you feel that you can be good at. Just
Go for it.
go with it.
Hmm.
Yeah, because usually it takes about. I remember I see this on paper somewhere. For someone to actually master a certain skills, it takes an average of 7 years.
Yeah. And with that's not even like, I mean, 7 years is a long time, and not every single day is obviously spent crafting away at that skill, but it's a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So
I do have one interesting story to end this all, right? Yeah, because you just mentioned that, well, but like what, 7 years, you take a long time to learn a certain skill, right?
yeah.
I recently learned how to like
Mhm.
motion graphics wise, right? Because I'm really interested in
Mhm.
all of that stuff. So I'm learning like different types of typography effects on like After Effects, so movement and all that stuff. So one time I tried to just do certain side projects for myself, edit like words moving here and there. It's like, whoa, it's so cool. And then I felt like I was like, oh damn, I'm already at like the top like of my level. Like shit, I can make words move. I'm so cool. So and you're just like, oh wow, I'm so cool and everything. But afterwards, right, I kept researching into not just like tutorials anymore. Like let's say not on YouTube. I went to go Google, right, for different design industries and agencies that sell these different effects, and I see their effects, and I'm just like, shit, how the hell do they make those? And then I had this sudden realization that I just started, that I'm not perfect yet, and I gotta slowly to slowly keep learning how can I make this typography, motion graphics better for myself. And so like the thing that I just described, I believe it's called the Dunning-Kruger curve. It's like the curve where you say like, oh, the amount of time that you spend on this, you feel like you're an expert. But then afterwards, when you realize that that's not the end of the journey, right? Your confidence goes down, but with more time, your confidence goes back up to say that you're a professional now after a certain time. Like what you said, 7 years to master a craft. So at the end of that 7 years, you probably feel pretty solid in what you do, and you understand with that expertise and that time spent, you know what, I'm probably a pretty good professional.
Yeah.
That's what I hope where I can be someday.
Yeah, we all have dreams for that. So yeah, just spend time in your craft, pick that one or two things that really, really interest you, and just go for it. And
whether it might not be in design, but for design case, photography, might be motion graphics, advertising, branding, illustration, all of that.
Yeah.
Just pick one and go for it. Keep practicing, keep looking for inspiration.
Even if you trip and fail along the way, just remember that this is not the end of the world. Don't take it too hard. I mean, everyone goes through that. The real problem is if you really have the desire to be good, those people that have made it up there are the ones who fail and it came back up.
Definitely, right? Yeah. It's the same idea of like businessmen, I'm pretty sure not many people were really successful business people when they first started out. What was that famous story for KFC? The guy started out as he had a really mediocre job, as like he was holding many odd jobs. Then afterwards he figured out the secret recipe to KFC or something like that. I can't remember, but it's something along those lines. But it's pretty inspiring to me. Yeah,
it's just that. Yeah, don't expect the road to be smooth and smooth sailing, so yeah.
I think, especially for that, in the sense of, especially in design school, right? When people are harsh to you, when teachers are harsh to you, industry professionals are harsh to you, they are building you up for what's to be expected, and they're also building you up for yourself to be better. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
I guess we can
wrap it up.
And yeah, just wrap it up right here.
All right.
So yeah, thank you all who have been listening to this point.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm your host. My name is Strike.
And my name is Norman.
See you on next episode.
Bye-bye.